before they follow brands. In today's crowded market, where competition is fierce and sales cycles are getting longer, the key to standing out is showcasing the unique value of your people. Highlight their expertise, passion, and perspectives through authentic, high-impact content. Thought leadership isn't just about building awareness, it's about earning trust and creating meaningful connections that drive action across the entire funnel. When your audience sees the real people behind your brand, they're more likely to trust your company, explore your offerings, and ultimately choose you over competitors. That's a quote and sneak peek from today's special guest, Purna Virji, Principal Consultant of Content Solutions at LinkedIn. Welcome to Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, the go-to resource for business leaders looking to unlock growth and maximize revenue. I'm your host, Carrie Curran, and with over 20 years of marketing agency experience driving client business growth, I now run RBMA, Revenue-Based Marketing Advisors, where we help businesses like yours effectively scale revenue growth. Visit revenuebasedmarketing.com or connect with me on LinkedIn today. In this episode titled LinkedIn Expert Advice, Driving B2B Growth with High Impact Content, I sat down with LinkedIn content expert Purna Virji to explore the transformative power of LinkedIn as a B2B marketing platform. As the B2B customer journey gets longer and buyers gain more control, building their short lists and selecting partners before they even connect with sales, content marketing and promotion is more critical than ever. As the leading platform for B2B discovery and engagement, LinkedIn is the most powerful tool in every B2B customer acquisition strategy. Purna shares insider tips and proven strategies for building trust, standing out in a crowded marketplace, and driving meaningful business results through thought leadership and high-impact content. From leveraging LinkedIn's latest tools like thought leader ads and sponsored newsletters to creating authentic, engaging video content, this episode is packed with actionable insights for B2B marketers. If you're looking to elevate your brand, shorten your sales cycle, and create content that truly resonates, don't miss this episode. Let's go. So welcome, Purna. Very excited to have you here today. Please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background and area of expertise.
Well, Carrie, thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here. So I'm Purna Virji. I am a longtime marketer, and I currently work at LinkedIn, where I am the Principal Content Solutions Consultant for LinkedIn Marketing Solutions, which really means, I know it's the most confusing title ever. So I have the really cool job of being right in the weeds and learning all about the best ways that businesses can grow and build their businesses through the power of content on LinkedIn. And I get to go out and talk to our amazing members all over the world and just share this advice with them.
Excellent. Well, we're very lucky to have you here today to share advice with our audience. So tell me, what are the trends you're seeing at LinkedIn? I know it's a huge channel for a lot of us B2B marketers. So what are the trends that you're seeing today?
Well, of course, I may be a little bit biased, but to me, there's no finer B2B platform than LinkedIn. And look, the proof is in the growth. Like we just recently crossed 1 billion members worldwide, which is just incredible. We have been here. We just celebrated our 20th birthday. This is just long lasting and incredible. But the platform, is what has not changed is the fact that it's so trustworthy, that people come there to learn. I think time after time, we're rated so highly in terms of trust. We see that our members come to LinkedIn as a way to invest their time. They come to learn both professionally and personally, and how and the trends that they're seeing. One is, of course, video, but really, really interesting is if people are coming to LinkedIn as a way to invest their time and learn, naturally then that thought leadership, especially people-based thought leadership, is what has been really catching on fire. It's been sort of growing and growing over the last 2 years, and especially in the last few months, it has just skyrocketed.
That's great. So yeah, I'm seeing that myself as well. There's just been more and more senior level executives coming out with their own, personal brand voice or representing the company, but really demonstrating, as you said, the thought leadership and kind of the value, adding value to their audience and customers, but also demonstrating the value of their company. So, what are some of kind of the important reasons for executives that you're seeing, or just any business leaders, that why should they be on LinkedIn?
Well, if you're a business leader, you're definitely going to want the data. So I have some stats for you.
Love
LinkedIn,
stats and
we
data.
love stats. LinkedIn and Edelman just released a couple of months ago the LinkedIn, like the thought leadership study. And so here's one reality, right? We know sales cycles are getting longer and longer. The economy, the
Yeah.
way things are. And the other cool thing is, with the advent of AI, and the barriers to creating content have gone down, right? More and more people are creating content. So not only is it taking longer to close a deal, but there's just so much more competition. So how do you stand
Hmm.
out? Well, we
Yeah.
know that people follow people before they follow brands. Like, that's just normal. But if we to go back to the numbers I promised, there was three that really jumped out at me from this study. The first one is that 73% of respondents in the study say that an organization's thought leadership content is a more trustworthy basis for assessing its capabilities and competencies, right?
Hmm.
That's huge. So if you want to stand out, um, Kira, I love this. I love to ask people this question where I'm saying that, okay, how many companies that sell CRM systems exist just in the US alone?
Yeah. I mean, I probably could list five, but tell me, how many are there?
Well, the last time I looked, it was over like 1,200.
Yeah.
And so you could name five. I could probably name five, and probably they're the same
Mhm.
five because those are the
Yeah.
names that are really known. So if I'm an incumbent and I want to sort of go and compete, like, what are you going to do? Like, just never develop another CRM system? No.
Yeah.
Well, you just have to find smarter ways to compete. And that's where thought leadership can really help. In fact,
Hmm.
75% of the respondents said that a piece of thought leadership has led them to research a product or service that they previously weren't considering. So there's a
Yeah.
way to stand out, build trust. And then 70% say that they are more likely to think more positively about organizations that consistently produce valuable thought leadership content. So your people really matter. Of course, it's your executives, your employees, your
Hmm.
subject matter experts. These are what are unique to you, right? There could be five companies doing something very similar in terms of an offering, but
Yeah.
they don't have your people. And if you can
Yeah.
put your people out there and show who they are, their brilliance, what they think, why they create what they create, that's going to differentiate you.
Yeah, I love all of these recommendations and the stats. I mean, those are big numbers, 73%, 75%. And your point of the sales cycles getting longer, they're more crowded, and it really is a sea of sameness when it comes to a lot of these tech solutions, whether it's CRM or email automation, or all of the tech. Now everything has AI tied to it as well. And so, I think a lot about that. Your point you made of helping them stand out, helping them demonstrate. To your point, I love that. Like, when a company is showing that they are a thought leader, they've done their original research or have opinions as to what the solution should be in the marketplace. Like, that demonstrates value to the target audience. And I was mentioning another study that Sixth Sense just did. 81% of buyers already they know who the brand that they had in mind before they even start reaching out to companies, typically is the one that wins.
Wow.
So it's
Yeah.
like, more and more, it's like, it's not about the lead lists and getting a cold call. It's about getting your brand into that consideration set on that short list, be favored before they start going to RFP or reaching out. We always said the best scenario is that they don't even go to RFP because they've fallen in love with you, but we know that's not always the case. So it's easier said than done to get executives to want to or and team members to build out content. So what are you seeing as far as kind of some of the objections that you hear, the resistance?
I don't know, and because and listen, it's such a human, normal objections, right? I had it too before I started posting like really
Yeah.
regularly.
Hmm.
It's more like, well, I'm a busy executive. Like, where is the time? And
Yeah.
you're right, where is there? But then it's like, okay, well, if I find the time, what do I even talk about? Like, I don't even know where to start. Or then the third one is that, okay, if I start talking about something, does that mean I need to build a whole separate content strategy? Or then, like, what's the best delivery mechanism? Is it just all organic? Should it be paid? And so I will always sit down and, like, I would love to bust these myths, Carrie, if you're open
Yeah.
to it. So let's start with time, right? Because that is, we all feel like there is no time. We'll get asked, how do you find the time to do this? I get
Yeah.
asked, and I post like once or maybe twice a week on LinkedIn, right? I'm not an everyday poster, but I'll still get asked, like, but how do you find time? I'm like, you make the time, and it's a joy, and it doesn't take as much time as you think. We
Yeah.
tend to think of like this thought leadership as this, we're creating this gigantic keynote presentation, or we're creating this highly produced video or this big event.
Yeah.
It's none of that. In fact, the coolest, there's so many different formats that you could choose. So whether you're doing you're sharing a news article, but you're adding a little bit of your perspective, or here's what jumped out to you, that takes a matter of minutes. You could share
Mhm.
an image or a couple of images and a little bit around it, right? Video is one of the hottest trends at all on
Yeah.
LinkedIn right now. Like, I'm telling you, if my regular text post, image post will get a few thousand um, impressions or several thousand impressions. But if I post a video, now I'm going like 100,000 plus impressions and reach. Like, and sometimes people are saying like, well, only like 800 people saw my post. I'm like, well, if, members were reached
Yeah.
with my post. And I'm like, well, if you reached 800 unique people in a room where you were public speaking, like, that's a pretty darn big deal. So think about that too. So in any case, there's tons of different formats, but what makes it easy is if you just block off time in your calendar like a hobby.
Mhm.
So even if you do like 30 minutes on a Monday, 30 minutes on a Friday, or for me, I'll do something 1 or 2 Sundays a month where I'll just create for like the week or maybe 2 weeks worth of content. And then if it's something fresh or up to date, then I'll just add it in. But at least I have something that can be
Mhm.
totally regular. Scheduling is awesome. You can edit schedule posts
Yeah.
as well. So I'll do that with, mess around with different formats. Your video doesn't even have to be highly produced. Our COO will will record videos of himself just walking to work and just sharing some of his advice. And they're so engaging. They do so well. I'll record videos just sitting right here in my home office at my desk,
Yeah.
and I'll just share advice. People, it's the value of the content. We don't need that big professional hi-fi, um, even just a lo-fi,
Yeah.
it works well. Like the keys and the advice that you're giving. So do that, find the time. And then if we go to what do I talk about, everyone gets stuck on that. I always say that, okay, so actually I'm going to ask you this question. Like, Carrie, I want to put you on the spot. What what do you find people come to you most often to get your professional advice on?
Yeah. To how to get more revenue faster, or really just how to get more leads. Right.
Perfect. See, that was so quick, right? So people know
Mhm.
that I'm going to go to Carrie for this because Carrie's got all the best advice. She's got the experience. So it's almost like the golden triangle. Remember, Good to Great had the golden
Mhm.
triangle, but let's think of it in terms of what is it that your business or your sort of your work persona should be focused on, then what are stuff that you have a lot of experience in, and then what is something that you really enjoy talking about or are passionate about talking about.
Yeah.
And so if you find the overlap between the three, like that golden triangle, that is your secret sauce. And it can be 3 or 4 pillars. You don't just have to be like, oh, I'm only going to talk about revenue. Like you have built a podcast, you've built a business, like you've had a very varied career, or, you may have beliefs about your leadership style that you might want to share, right? Pick 2 to 3 core pillars and then build
Mhm.
under that. And the reason I say that is not just what you have expertise in, it's but what you're passionate about talking about, because then you'll never run out of ideas. For me, I love marketing so much. I could talk about it all day long. And I know you're so similar. Like if it was like, Carrie, let's talk revenue generating, you'd be like, here's something I tried. Here's this thing that worked. Here's this cool thing I read about, right? This is something you could wake you up in the middle of the night and talk, so you won't run out of ideas. So really, that's where you should start. And it's okay to have different niches.
Yeah.
You can slot people in. So anyway, I've rambled a lot.
No, but
Um,
it's so that's so valuable, and I love your point, and it brings me back to what you're saying earlier about the perception of authenticity, and it's all about relationship building and building that connection with your target audience so that they trust and believe in you. If you're in an executive position at this company, you should already have like opinions and thoughts, or, ideas of why you believe in your company and why you believe in your product or your solution. And so, to your point, it's well, maybe if it's not so easy to just share your POV on things related to your company, then maybe you're not at the right company. No, but it's your point. It's like thinking about what are you already talking about and doing every day, and just taking the time to write something fast. So I love that. I love all of your recommendations and ideas, especially the triangle pillar. And then LinkedIn has some new features too for promoting that the thought leadership as well to new audiences. Talk more about that.
that's right. So something that is unique to LinkedIn and has been seeing so much success is thought leader ads. So you can literally promote from a company the thought leadership that your people, whether they're your executives, your employees, or even your customers, we also have influence. You can even do it for third
Hmm.
party.
Hmm.
And the best part is you don't have to learn anything new. It's all within the same campaign manager. So if Revenue Boost podcast page had the page, you had your campaign manager tied to it, then any post that you, Carrie, put out or that I put out about being on the podcast, you could then go in and promote. And we always say that, look, organic, you're just going to reach the same people that you already reach. But
Hmm.
paid plants new seeds,
Yeah.
organic nurtures the crops. So you
Hmm.
need both, because you can't just rely on your crops. You want to go and find more people who are similar to the ones that you already reach well. And so Toledo ads tend to they've seen incredible success so far. There's tons of case studies, like Lenovo recently did something that I can share more about too. And then another format is sponsored newsletters, right? You can do omni-channel on LinkedIn. If you've got a newsletter that you're posting on other channels, bring it
Hmm.
to LinkedIn, put it
Yep.
on here. You can even promote it both on a company side or a personal thought leader side too, which tends to get so much more reach, so much more engagement, right? People tend to think of LinkedIn as like, oh, I'll just come here and do my lead gen forms. I'll just come here and do a single image ads. But you can do so much more. You can build brand of your people. You can build, thought leadership is also not just an awareness thing. It is a full
Right.
funnel, like having your customer share a case study and promoting that via thought leader ads. That's your social proof bottom funnel. You
Hmm.
could have people, B2B is not just a single decision maker, right? There's an entire buying
Yeah.
community.
Right.
There's
Right.
hidden buyers and direct buyers. So if you have
Hmm.
a very technical product, or your ICP, your ideal customer profile, is very technical, then use your developers or use your technical people to post content and promote. So whether through newsletters, through thought leader ads, all of these are tending to see a lot of success.
Hmm.
And video, like I can't stress this enough. We have got the short form videos. You've seen the new video feed that
Yep.
does really well. So really, like around 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and under does really well. But by no means, you don't have to limit yourself to that. And you don't just have to talk about your company, right? You can talk about so many different things. You can talk about industry trends. You could talk about your own experiences in the industry. Even if you are at an event, for example, right? Live events are back. If you've gone to an event, talk about what did you learn, what was a cool talk that you saw, what was some key
Yep.
takeaways, like bring other people there, interview your customers, share leadership advice, share your people, it will also help with your talent branding, right? Or your sort of,
Yep.
so you can help attract more people to your business. It's so powerful.
Mhm. This episode of Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, is brought to you by Kriglu. Want to boost customer acquisition while saving time and money? Meet Kriglu, an AI-powered omnichannel bid management platform designed to optimize your ad spend. Kriglu intelligently adjusts bids across channels, ensuring your ads reach the right audience at the lowest cost. Plus, with its automation, you'll free up valuable time to focus on your business. The result? Efficient, cost-effective growth, all while maximizing your marketing budget. Ready to scale smarter and faster? Visit Kriglu.com, Crigloo.com, and start saving today. One of the examples you mentioned earlier to me was sharing breaking news. And I thought that was a really great piece of advice. So talk a bit about how you're seeing that work well.
That is another really, really interesting piece. And it's another way that you can showcase your authenticity as well as who
Mm-hmm.
you are. What's your take on breaking news or something big is happening? Share your perspective on it. You
Mm-hmm.
can actually share breaking, like right now at the time that we're filming this, like the Jaguar.
Oh, I just saw that.
I
Yeah.
know. It's all
Yeah.
over my feed on LinkedIn. Every marketer is having their take on the Jaguar rebrand, right? And everyone's coming there. But then there's so many. Then there's some people are like,
Mm-hmm.
well, here's my version of a rebrand of here's what I would have done, or here's some other people talking about why it exists. Some people are saying, well, you should wait and see what happens with this thing. Everyone's bringing their own perspective.
Yep.
And
Yep.
to bring up another triangle, this is from Harvard professor Dr. Frances Fry. She has this thing called the trust triangle. The Harvard Business Review has a whole article about it, where she said that to build trust, which is ultimately the big success in business, especially B2B, right? Trust is so
Yep.
paramount. She said it comes down to three things. Like, one, do I feel like I see the real you, like authenticity? The
Mm-hmm.
second one is like, do I feel like I can trust your logic and opinions, like logic? And then the third one is like empathy. Like, do I feel like you care about me? And so if you're sharing breaking news, don't just be like headline, because that's not what it is. Like, share, like, here's what it is, like, here's what you can do about it. Oh, we're seeing the spike in XYZ trend, like, have you considered doing this, right? And use it as a chance to showcase your expertise, because remember, LinkedIn members come on LinkedIn to invest their time. They want to grow personally, professionally, so they want to consume educational, helpful content.
I love all of your ideas and suggestions, Perna. I'm definitely have going to have a lot of new content types to test out. One question I have for you that I just thought of was, how about like LinkedIn live events, or doing like what live conversations or webinars live on LinkedIn? Like how are those performing, or do you recommend them?
Yeah, they're great. In fact, our LinkedIn editorial team at LinkedIn, they have an awesome series, and I always tune in. The great thing is that you can engage real time, you can
Yeah.
track, real comments, and then it lives on live on the platform. So it's just in one place. It helps with discoverability. It helps with massive reach. Because let's say if you were hosting a LinkedIn live and I said, yes, I'm attending, then people in my network would see that I'm
Yep.
attending. So just it would amplify the reach so much
Mhm.
more. You without having to rely on me to be like, hey, I'm going to go and attend this event. It just happens automatically. So it just saves everyone time.
Mhm.
So yeah, those are amazing. I remember I did one LinkedIn live. It had a couple of thousand live attendees, and then a week later, it had over like 12,000 views. I'm like, heck, like this
That's
has got such a
incredible.
long
Yeah.
life. So that's just something that I recall doing. So yeah, it's like I always say, it's a one-stop shop. You can have your events on LinkedIn. Even if you're doing a live event, you can take videos of it and share. We've got connected TV in most regions of the
Oh,
world,
wow.
which you can go expand there. We've got our LinkedIn audience network for like programmatic and display. And then, you've got your regular bread and butter social posts. And so there's no reason to, don't just limit LinkedIn to like either a bottom funnel play or like just a
Yeah.
top funnel play. It is, it really is a solid ecosystem. And the more that people spend time on LinkedIn, the more they see different facets of who you are as a person, who your brand is, the more they really
Mhm.
get to know you, and you build that crucial top of mind awareness. So then they're like, well, there's 1,700 or 1,200 companies. You can be in that five, or maybe you'll grow their list to a top seven and get considered.
Yeah, definitely. This is so many valuable pieces of advice. And Perna, I know you're a bit of an expert at content strategy, not just for LinkedIn. So, um, tell us a bit about the book that you published, the award-winning book, and some of the is where can people find it, and some of the key takeaways in your book.
Oh, well, thank you for asking, Carrie. I wrote the book called High Impact Content Marketing. It is available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, your friendly bookseller near you. It's available everywhere globally. It's done super, super well. It's also just getting translated into Polish as well to come out. So that was something cool and exciting. And what I've done is, like, really, so many of us feel so stuck. Like, AI is coming. What's going to happen to my job? Or there's so much competition. How do I connect? And it's like literally very um, specific. So it's like core strategies plus step by step actionable advice. So it's not just like, oh, this is a cool strategy, and then you're like, well, how do I implement it? I give you exactly the steps to implement it. I have sort of worksheets and frameworks and everything in the book as well. I have an instructional design background, so like learning and development, and so I study how adults learn and how to drive behavior change. And so one of the biggest hooks, or the thing that makes my book unique, is how you can take that understanding of how people learn and how to drive behavior change and apply it to content marketing to really drive the results that you're looking for.
Excellent. Again, a wealth of knowledge and so many recommendations. So, thank you, Perna. And then where can people find you? Just look for you on LinkedIn as well.
Oh, for sure. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm just at Purna Virji on LinkedIn, and that's the best place to find me. I'm obsessively on there, not just because I work there, I was there before as well. But Carrie,
Yeah,
this was so much fun. I feel like
so much
we could chat
fun.
marketing like all
I
day long.
know. Well, we'll definitely have to have you on again because it's, as you said, it's been really fun to catch up. And I love all of your ideas and recommendations. And hopefully, it'll bring more marketers success as well. So, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure. Bye. Thanks for
Bye.
listening.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast. We have more valuable content coming up, so be sure to subscribe to Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, so you don't miss out. To connect with me, Carrie Curran, to learn how you can boost your revenue and to listen to past episodes, visit revenuebasedmarketing.com.